Hello and welcome down onto the Tech Desk, and in today's video the day has finally arrived. I made a video on the original Hyperion 10 months ago to the day, and without fail every day I get asked, will they be making one with Hall effect sensors? And today is that day. You can order these now. I'll leave links down below of where you can get hold of this. Don't pay full price, use my discount to get a cheeky discount for them. And here we go. In today's video, we're going to be going through these, the Hyperion Pro, or to give it its full title, the NYXI Hyperion Pro Meteor Light Wireless Joypad for Switch OLED, and it also works for the Lite as well. Okay, so in this video, I'm just going to go through the whole of the features on this as if we don't know with the old Hyperion, but I will be comparing it to the Hyperion as we go. I'll just make a few obvious upgrades to this than the other Hyperion. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to spend probably a couple of weeks getting really down into the depths and getting the differences between the two, and I'll put that in a separate video, but I'll tell you the differences as we go through today. So first thing then we're going to look at the box because it's very interesting. So this is Hyperion Pro with Hall effect. Now it doesn't say Pro anywhere. It doesn't say Hall effect anywhere. So when I got it, I was a bit like, okay, have they just coloured the old ones green? And I was a bit worried. So don't worry if you're going to get the box and you think Hyperion Pro. I have actually opened these up. I opened these up over the weekend because I've been playing with these for a few days now. I opened these up and it does indeed have the Hall effect sensors in there. So don't worry that it doesn't say Pro. I just think maybe it should say Pro and it should have Hall effect all over the thing because that's the big selling point, isn't it? Hall effect sensors, brilliant. Nothing. But you know, cool gaming atmosphere, great comfort reel, vibration, 2 advanced gaming buttons, great. We'll talk all about that as well. So in the box, you're going to get this, which is an instruction manual in all different languages. The English one being up there, of all the functions that it does, and also a USB Type-C. It's a very basic USB Type-C cable. I don't really use that one as I have one spare over there that I use, but you might want to use that if you want to. And then finally you get this, which is the centerpiece, which you can do. There's no electronics in here, it's literally a bit of plastic, but it will light up to tell you which player number you are on. So let's wake it up, there we go, so you can see that there. Okay, so we're on player number 1 there. Let's wake up this one. There, number 1. Okay. So that's when you want to play it off the Switch, you have a lot of this. I find this perfectly comfortable to use as a Pro controller alternative. So let's get this weighed as well. My not very scientific weighing scales, but we'll see. Let's have a look. Both of them together, so 204. And I've got a Pro controller here. Admittedly, this has some extra back bits, so it's going to be a little bit heavier. But 260-ish, so 204. So with these two, it's a little bit lighter than this one. So let's get this off. Let's get this back onto the Switch. And what we're going to do is we're going to go through them individually. So I'll start off with the left one, and I'm just going to turn it off just so it doesn't play about with the things. So here is the left one then. At the moment, it only comes in this green. I'd say green and gold, but the only gold bit is kind of the D-pad. It's like a two-tone green. If you want a different colour, you might need to wait, but that's it for this one. So here we have the L and ZL, and they are both digital. Okay. The thumbstick here. Now the thing with the thumbstick is it's really quite wide. I mean, much wider than a official Joycon. If I grab one, look at the size between them two. It's a good 3 or 4 millimeters wider. It's great, really nice. Slightly concave, that isn't it? Slightly concave, which is nice and it feels nice, but it's got this nice grippy texture around the side. So I found myself when I was playing, I was doing a lot of the side stuff because it was so big, and I was able to push it up and down left, right just by doing it. Because normally I like a domed version and put my thumb on the top. I wasn't. I was playing it much more like that. Minus button, and then the D-pad. I'm not an expert on D-pads because I don't play many fighting games, I'll be honest, many of the 2D retro games as much, but this is okay. There's a definite feedback. I will be doing a sound test later. I'll leave links away so you can skip to that. So we're going to put them on and we'll do all of the button testing. But look, you can see it doesn't go all the way flush. There's not even like a millimeter of movement there, and it's the same all the way around. And at the bottom there we have the T, which is like a function button, and then we have the screenshot as you know. This T button here controls the lights, which we'll talk about later. On the side here we have SL and SR, as you would expect with any regular Joy-Con, because you can use this off. the switch if you like, because they've got their own battery and they can work independently. And then spinning it over, we have an M button for certain functions, and we have the vibration adjust button. These are flush with the controller because I guess you're not really using them as much. I've never really used it. I have the vibration down to very minimum anyway. And then we have this here, which is the ML buttons, which are brilliant. These are perfectly placed for when you're playing with your hands. So the middle finger, when you've got this in my average adult-sized hands and you're holding it, it's just on there perfectly. Enough tension just to rest your finger on. You're not going to press it, but you have to be definite to press it. And again, we'll do the sound test later. So then spinning back then, just the thing about the thumbstick is it is replaceable. So if you just give it a pull like that, you can pull it off. And then you have this kind of metal infinity ring, and you have this thumbstick cap. Thing is, I don't know where you can buy extra thumbstick caps from yet. I'm assuming they're going to be available at some point. But once you've done that, you just pop it back on, clip it on, nice and secure, and then you've got this metal rubbing on this ring here, which feels nice and smooth, and we'll do a thumbstick test later on. Then finally, on the bottom, we have the USB-C here, so we can charge individually. So you can charge it on the switch. So if it's on the switch, just plug it, switch in, which we'll talk about in a minute, and it will charge these two, or you can charge them individually, maybe if you were doing this. And you'll notice this flat bit here. I've always been a fan of this flat bit. This means it can stand up. It doesn't need, because it's so big, your kickstand is essentially going to be useless because they are quite big unless you want it floating up. But there's a flat bit there which you can rest the Joy-Con on. It doesn't rest very well on a spongy mouse mat like this, but as you can see, I've done it there. So that's what they're for, the flat bit is, so you've kind of got yourself a makeshift desktop stand. Okay, that's for the left one. Let's ping over to the right one. We have exactly the same. ZR and R are digital. Plus button, X, Y, A, B, thumbstick, home, T, USB, flat bit. The MR, nice and comfy. Grippy texture, M to that, all identical. There's a couple of things different for this one we want to talk about. This is another one of the upgrades. So one of the upgrades from the old Hyperion was the removable thumbsticks. This is another one of the upgrades as well. If I turn it on, look at that, the X, Y, A and B light up. Brilliant, I absolutely love this. If you don't want to get it just for the thumbsticks or the Hall effect, get it for this. I love the fact that they light up. And they kind of got this depth thing, so the light's obviously really far down there. It's just brilliant for playing in the dark. It's not too bright. Really, really useful. And then it goes out with the switch out there. What we'll do now is we'll talk about a few of the other features as well. So if we're going to see if it wakes up the switch. So yes, it does when it's on the switch. And let's take it off. And then if we turn the switch off, these will go off. There we go. And then we're going to turn it on again by holding down the home. And then we'll just do the 3 buttons. There we go. So it does wake up the switch. Okay, so in terms of functions then, it pretty much does everything apart from Amiibo Sport. So it has rumble, which isn't HD rumble. Okay, so it's kind of adjustable of 5 different, so it's off 25, 50, 75, and 100% power. It's okay, it's just a regular rumble. If you've used any third party, you'll know what the rumble's like on this. But it's not HD, but hey ho, whatever. So as well as the vibration, it also has the motion, which you kind of expect. And as I said, the only thing it doesn't have is the NFC. It also has turbo, automatic and manual, which means automatic, it will press, let's say, for example, the A button. It will continuously press that. Or if you want to flick it over to the manual, means you have to hold it down and then it will flick it and then you turn it off. And it also has macros as well. So when you press a button, for example, press this one, you can have different set buttons to change as well. And you can change this on the fly if you want to. So you can just be sitting there. You kind of normally can have this as like a R, the right bumper. And if you want it as A, you just hold down the memory, hold down this, hold down A, and it will set to that really, really easily. So let's ping this on. And then we'll do a little bit of a testing before we do the button test. So first up, let's get it plugged in so we can see it charging. There we go. So we have all 3 charging at the same time, like so. I wouldn't suggest putting this on charge while it's on the switch, but if you're charging that up, there you can see that the right one there is charging, and the left one is charging because it's on the switch. It says charging time is about 2 hours from flat. I haven't really done anything scientific in regards to charging and the battery times, so I just assume that's right. I haven't really noticed any difference. I have this always charging, or my switch always charging in the dock if I need to. and it has a range of 10 meters, it says, if you want to. Again, I'm never more than 10 meters away, but that's okay. With about 6.5 hours playtime, I guess that's off the Switch, which is increased on the Switch. And then if you are going to be keeping it docked, you can have it like this, but the only issue is you're only going to be using this bottom USB here. This one might be a bit tight. You can definitely get something in here. So if you are going to be using this dock, whether it be on this OLED dock or the original dock, you're going to lose one of your USB there. So just something to note if you're thinking about picking one of these up. So then let's go into our old settings, down to tolerance sensors, and then calibrate control sticks. So I'm going to be doing this one here. So let's hold this. Okay, so let's start the movement. Okay, that is almost instant. I say about 1 millimeter of movement before we get going, and then to the edge there we have about 2 millimeters. This is a pretty much standard for every single Joycon that I've ever owned, to the top and then to the edge there. And then if we roll this round, it doesn't get stuck on the clock there, which is good. Okay, perfect. And then if we go back, I won't do too long with this one because it's absolutely identical. Okay, let's move it off here. Done. A bit of movement on the out, about I'd say probably about 2 or 3 millimeters. It's pretty standard for most Joycon, third-party Joycon and controllers I've had at the moment. 1.5, 2 millimeters worth of movement on the outside of the ring there, and exactly the same. Okay. So as I said, the main selling point for these are the Hall effect, and I've been using this now for a few days over the weekend. It's been brilliant. It's been absolutely fantastic, and apparently we're not going to get any drift ever, which is superb. So these are kind of like a brilliant upgrade from the old Hyperion so far. Right, I did promise you a button test. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to flick over to my special microphone, and then we're just going to have a button test so you can hear the sound, so you'll be able to tell which ones are the clicky ones and which ones aren't. Okay, so go listen to that, and I'll be back in a bit. Okay, one last thing I want to talk about. The features on this are the lights as well. So, you know, we've had it on yellow the whole time. Simply change that on the fly by clicking T and the button there. So we have yellow, blue, green, purple, orange, white, and then multicolored. And if you hold down T and double tap the stick, you get a breathing of the individual colors. And then if you hold it down again and double tap it, you're going to get breathing of the multi-colors there. And that's that. Now, I have tested this. I left the Joycon off for 24 hours, and it came back on with the setting that I left it on. Okay, so I've had this on yellow. I then went away. I took them off for 24 hours, and it came back onto the yellow. I believe it will reset itself when the battery gets flat. So exactly the same with this one. So hold down T and then click that, and you have to do them individually, like so, because they are individual Joycon. Exactly the same with this button as well. This paddle here can only be mapped to these buttons, and this paddle can only be mapped to these buttons as well. T, and then we'll go on that, and then just double tap that, and then double tap it again, and we're on the breathing one of that. So very similar to that. So there we have it. And that was my look at this, then the new Hyperion Pro. Is it worth an upgrade over the old Hyperion? Personally, yes, but that is your decision. I think the three main things for me are the Hall effect thumbsticks, which is a big improvement. The lights on here with the light up of the X, Y, A and B, which I think are fantastic. And the replaceable thumbsticks, not so much so, because I can't actually get anything replaceable other than that. As I said, I'm going to be going a much deeper dive onto the differences, if there is any at all. But like I'm saying, the main thing is going to be your Hall effect sensors and no drift whatsoever with these, ever, apparently. Okay, only come in the green at the moment. If you want another color, you're probably going to have to wait to see if they do drop another one for the Hyperion Pro. Go and check it out. Don't pay full price. Go and get my discount, and then you'll get it a little bit cheaper. Go and get these. These are the best Joy-Con you can get for the Nintendo Switch on the market at the moment. I love these. These will be on my Switch. These are my main ones. I prefer Joy-Con rather than anything else, so I will be keeping these on my Switch. Perfect. Right, if you've got any questions, do let me know. Please do like, please do subscribe for the other videos on the Hyperion Pros. Until the next one. Bye-bye.